Hey there. Once again, I am Jesse Dollemore, and I host the podcast I Doubt It with Dollemore. Well, we find ourselves here once again. And, again, it's because of the young and inexplicably angry Tomi Lahren. It appears that Tomi went on a tirade about the BET Awards, Jesse Williams, and the Black Lives Matter movement. Again. Her rant was some hateful and resentfully uninformed rhetoric peppered with a little bit of logical fallacy and just a soupçon of expertly placed racism. She once again acts as though she is the spokesperson for all white people. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows there are other, more rational voices out there. Let's break down her latest in pieces. Before I do, though, for all of you maniac racists who love to comment below, 1, I don't have white guilt. 2, I'm not a race traitor or a cuck or whatever other idiotic terms you enjoy using. And 3, I'm not a social justice warrior or a regressive leftist. Hell, I'm not even a liberal. I'm just a human who loves other humans, and I think I have deep empathy for the suffering and oppression of others. All right, now let's break down Tomi's latest piece by piece.
Well, the BET Awards were last night. Notably, they were very black. Oh, but can I say that? What with my whiteness and all? Well, too damn bad.
Listen, Tomi, let's talk. Again, maybe your hometown of Rapid City, South Dakota didn't get the BET channel. But just so you know, BET stands for Black Entertainment Television. And you pointing out that the BET Awards were notably very black isn't on its face a problem. It's the strangely defiant manner in which you say it. Why so angry? You saying the BET Awards was very black is like pointing out that there were a notable number of athletes at the ESPN Awards, or that there were a whole bunch of fearful, angry white xenophobes at a Donald Trump rally.
Question, was this a celebration of black entertainment or an opportunity to complain about the plight of wealthy black actors and musicians? Curious, because I saw a lot of talent on that stage, but at the same time, a whole lot of victimhood. Oh, and police bashing, that too.
It was an awards show, Tomi. And actors, they're like anybody else. Despite what you may think, they do exist in the world outside of when you were seeing them via the magic of television. And they have interests and passions about things like injustice and systemic oppression, just like other, less widely known people. And them talking about those issues doesn't make them victims. It makes them good stewards of their fame and notoriety. It means they're doing something with their fame other than just cashing a paycheck.
Meet Grey's Anatomy actor Jesse Williams. He won the Humanitarian Award last night, which means the BET definition of humanitarian is someone who perpetuates a war on cops.
What we've been doing is looking at the data, and we know that police somehow manage to de-escalate, disarm, and not kill white people every day. So what's going to happen is we are going to have equal rights and justice in our own country, or we will restructure their function and ours. Yesterday would have been young Tamir Rice's 14th birthday. So I don't want to hear any more about how far we've come when paid public servants can pull a drive-by on a 12-year-old playing alone in a park in broad daylight, killing him on television and then going home to make a sandwich.
Killing someone in broad daylight and then going home to make a sandwich? Are you kidding me, Jesse? Know what else is interesting, bud? Though the term unarmed black man may be literally accurate, it doesn't tell the whole story in most cases. In a number of cases, if the victim ended up being unarmed, it was certainly not for lack of trying. Grabbing an officer's gun or using other equipment to beat the police doesn't give you a free pass. Oh, but heaven forbid someone be critical of this movement.
Where to begin knocking down all of these straw men? He mentioned Tamir Rice, and although you start by saying, although the term unarmed black men may be literally accurate, you start rambling on about grabbing an officer's gun and using other equipment to beat police. Let me refresh your memory about what happened with Tamir Rice. Don't blink or you'll miss it. because the cops pulled up onto the grass in their police car and jumped out to shoot and kill in fewer than 2 seconds an innocent 12-year-old boy who was playing alone in a park. So save your disgusting, righteous indignation for something else, because the killing of this child deserves speeches and rallies and protests from what you so disdainfully refer to as this movement.
If you have a critique for the resistance, for our resistance, then you better have an established record of critique of our oppression. If you have no interest in equal rights for black people, then do not make suggestions to those who do. Sit down.
Equal rights. Please tell me, Mr. Williams, what rights black people don't have. Also, white people, yeah, we do have a record of critique of your oppression. In fact, do you know how many of our ancestors fought in the Civil War to free your ancestors? Bloodiest war in the United States history was over what was right, and it was largely white people fighting it. In fact, it was white Southern Democrats who fought for, not against, slavery.
Where to begin? Well, first of all, let's talk about the rights that blacks have as a matter of historical record not enjoyed in my own short lifetime, and still don't today due to the continuance of systemic bias. Listen, Tommy, maybe you need to read your Constitution. The 14th Amendment guarantees the equal protection under the law. Equal protection. So when someone who looks like this gets sentenced to 6 months in jail for raping an unconscious woman, or someone like this gets probation for killing 4, while people who look like this do real time, hard time for drug offenses, the fact of the matter, Tommy, is that when sentencing disparities like these exist by the tens of thousands and are widespread, this isn't equal protection. This isn't equal justice. To your second point, that it was just white Southern Democrats who fought to keep slavery intact in this country, that's true. But I hope you're smarter than to deny the seismic shift in party ideologies that has taken place during the course of the past over 150 years.
Oh, but speaking of privilege, let's listen to this high-paid television actor tell us just how bad he has it.
We've been floating this country on credit for centuries, and we're done watching and waiting while this invention called whiteness uses and abuses us, burying black people out of sight and out of mind while extracting our culture, our dollars, our entertainment like oil, black gold, ghettoizing and demeaning our creations, then stealing them, gentrifying our genius, and then trying us on like costumes before discarding our bodies like rinds of strange fruit.
I'm sorry, Jesse, but I won't be apologizing for my whiteness, just as you don't need to apologize for your blackness. It's not white people working to divide America. It's you. You and Beyonce and Jada Pinkett Smith and Al Sharpton. Do you see yourself as a victim? If so, I feel sorry for you. For someone who wants equal rights, it sure sounds like you prefer special treatment. It sure sounds like you'd like a gold star at the end of the day just for being born. Get over yourself.
Tommy, no one is asking you to apologize for being white. You don't have to agree with 100% of Jesse Williams' points to understand them, to have an earnest conversation about them. And when did speaking and acting out about social injustice make someone a divider in this nation? I suppose Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Mary Church Terrell, and Martin Luther King Jr. were also dividing our nation. Being black and speaking out about clear inequalities and systemic injustices doesn't mean they feel like victims. Speaking out means they are champions of a cause, mouthpieces for those with no voice.
You're not a humanitarian. You're not a unifier. You're not teaching black children to go forth and conquer. You're teaching them to feel sorry for themselves. Nice work, and how about you sit down? Those are my final thoughts. God bless, and take care.
What do you think it means when little black boys or little black girls witness someone who looks like them standing up and speaking out? Well, I can tell you what I think it means. I bet it's empowering for a whole new generation, letting them know it's okay to demand justice. It's okay to speak up when you're mistreated by the same government that's supposed to protect your sacred rights upheld by the Constitution of this great nation. When they hear and see someone who looks like them raise their voice and get involved, it allows them to aspire to greater things and to know that they absolutely are born worthy of equality, that they are just as deserving of fairness and protection under the Constitution as you or me. Hey, if you like this, or even if you hated it, for more like it, go ahead and click subscribe to the YouTube channel. Or if you really like the sound of my stupid voice, why don't you check out the podcast? We're on iTunes and Stitcher. Again, it's I Doubt It with Dollemore.